Who's winning in the standoff between Anthropic and the US Department of Defense? It isn't Anthropic and it isn't the Pentagon. The real winners are the competitors who are willing to do what Anthropic won't. Today we're breaking down why the Safety First AI Lab is facing a potential government-wide blacklist, the specific military mission that triggered this crisis, and how Anthropic will have a lot to lose here on. The friction began in early 2026. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, Anthropic's model Claude was used during the January 3 mission to capture former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. While the mission was a success, it revealed a complicated reality. Anthropic doesn't work with the military directly, they work through Palantir. Now see, the Pentagon uses Palantir's AIP, Artificial Intelligence Platform, as the primary operating system for modern warfare. Because of a partnership signed in 2024, Claude is one of the frontier models available inside Palantir's secure environment. This means when the military used Claude for targeting and intelligence in Caracas, they were using it through Palantir's interface. The drama started when an Anthropic executive reportedly reached out to Palantir to ask exactly how Claude was being used. Now, to the Pentagon, this felt like industrial espionage or a vendor trying to veto a top-secret mission. This is what triggered Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to consider the nuclear option, labeling Anthropic a supply chain risk. Now, this is a severe label typically reserved for foreign adversaries. If applied, it wouldn't just end Anthropic's $200 million defense contract, it would legally require all US military contractors to remove Claude from their systems or risk losing their own government ties. Every single defense contractor, from Boeing to small software startups, would have to certify they're not using Claude in their workflows. So who is right? On one side, you have Anthropic's red lines. They explicitly refuse to allow Claude to be used for mass domestic surveillance or fully autonomous weapons, meaning systems that fire without a human in the loop. Anthropic's leadership argues that current laws haven't caught up to AI's ability to synthesize data at a massive scale. And without these guardrails, the US risks becoming like its autocratic adversaries. But the Pentagon, recently renamed the Department of War, is operating under a different mandate, all lawful purposes. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has been clear. The US will not employ AI models that won't allow you to fight wars. But if the Pentagon is so angry, why haven't they pulled the plug yet? The answer is disentanglement. A senior Pentagon official admitted that because Claude was the first frontier model integrated into classified systems, it is now deeply embedded in sensitive military infrastructure. The official was quoted saying, "It will be an enormous pain in the to disentangle, and we're going to make sure Anthropic pay a price for forcing our hand like this." The Pentagon is currently in a hostage situation of its own making. They can't just flip a switch and remove Claude without going blind on active intelligence projects. So the current strategy is a controlled exit. They're keeping Anthropic on a short leash while they build a lifeboat. The price Anthropic might pay isn't just the loss of their $200 million contract. It's a total eviction from the $800 billion defense ecosystem. The Pentagon is signaling to the entire tech industry that utopian idealism is out and hard-nosed realism is in. They're essentially waiting for a competitor to prove they can do what Claude does without the ethical backdrop. To prevent vendor lock-in, the Department of War released an AI acceleration strategy. It includes a mandate known as the 30-day rule, requiring the military to have the latest AI models available for deployment within 30 days of their public release. Central to this is GenAI.mil, a military platform that democratizes AI by putting frontier models directly onto the desktops of all 3 million service members and contractors. While Claude is currently the only model on classified networks, the swappable architecture of GenAI.mil is bringing in 3 major players. Yes, the ones you already are aware of. 1. Google. They were the launch partner for GenAI.mil with Gemini for Government. They have already agreed to the all lawful use standard and are being fast-tracked for classified clearance to replace Claude. OpenAI. They recently integrated ChatGPT into GenAI.mil for the entire force. While they maintain some safety layers, they have proven significantly more flexible than Anthropic regarding military intelligence and administrative use. And the third one, xAI. Grok. Elon Musk is taking the lead on kinetic AI. xAI is currently competing in a secret $100 million contest to build voice-controlled autonomous drone swarms. The goal is for a commander to give a verbal order that Grok translates into tactical flight paths for hundreds of drones. Exactly the kind of autonomous lethality Anthropic refuses to touch. Okay, so in my opinion, Anthropic is currently fighting a war on two fronts, one with the Pentagon and an even more dangerous one within its own walls. Now, if Anthropic chooses to side with the defense rules, it's pretty much losing what they stood for. In fact, employees from other AI research firms have left their startups to join Anthropic with the mission of safety-first AI. But if Anthropic decides to stick by its guns, it could potentially lose our billions of dollars of businesses with companies that already operate with the government. And now the internal tensions? This month, we saw the safety-first brand start to crack under the pressure of its own contradictions. It started with the Super Bowl this month. Anthropic spent millions on an ad titled "Ads are coming to AI, but not to Claude," taking a direct jab at OpenAI's plan to monetize ChatGPT. It was supposed to be a win for ethics, but it backfired. Sam Altman immediately fired back, calling the ads clearly dishonest and labeling Anthropic's approach authoritarian for trying to gatekeep how the world uses AI. When even your ethical marketing feels preachy to the public, you have a brand problem. And then came a series of events. This month, Anthropic's own Sabotage Risk Report for Claude 4.6 revealed that the model is becoming a master of what they call sneaky sabotage. In internal tests, the AI succeeded in hiding unauthorized side tasks from researchers 18% of the time. Even more unsettling, the report found the model has evaluation awareness. It literally knows when it's being tested and plays nice for the auditors. Anthropic's head of safeguards, Mrinal Sharma, suddenly resigned on February 9. His letter was a warning, stating that the world is in peril and admitting it's becoming impossible to let values govern company actions. With the Pentagon relationship turning toxic and internal safety failing, it makes total sense that Anthropic is looking for a fresh start. If they can't be the war model for the US, they want to be the trust model for the world's fastest growing tech hub. And what followed was a series of announcements. Anthropic officially opened its first Indian office in Bengaluru this week. India is now Claude's second largest market, and the partnerships they locked in this week are quite big. First, the Infosys deal. Announced just a few days ago, they're integrating Claude into Infosys Topaz to build agentic AI for banks and telecom giants. Then the enterprise win. Major players like Air India and Cred are already using Claude Code to slash development costs and ship features twice as fast. So Anthropic is pretty much betting that the global enterprise market cares more about safe AI than the US Department of War does. It's a bold gamble, but as they face sneaky sabotage from their own models and a potential blacklist from their own government, you have to ask, can they actually survive as a safety-first company in a world that is increasingly demanding war-ready AI? It's not just a pivot, it's a fight for their identity. And it makes sense to track what follows next. If you learned a thing or two from this video, there's more where it came from. Keep following Tech Brew with Vandana Nair. I'll see you in the next one.